And now, for your listening pleasure, straight out of Milwaukee, right around Halloween, which is why I'm doing the voice, the least talked about podcast in Wisconsin, Hypocritical, with your guides, Alexa MKA and Shock the MoKE, MOKE, where we praise and vent and all things that in the end just don't matter. How you doing, Alexa?
Ooh, I'm scared now.
There's plenty of spooky things going on. We got Halloween, we got the election, we'll talk about later.
Yes, I know. We've got like crazy scary stuff. I mean,
Lots scary.
so what'd you do for Halloween? You're all dressed up. Tell us about what you got.
Well, in this land of social distancing, what can you do on Halloween, and still dress up and try to have fun and celebrate it and all that. So we found through this app, Clued Up, and it was kind of like I want to call it a Pokemon Go kind of thing. All right. I never played Pokemon Go, but I got the idea what this is. They set you at Cathedral Square in Milwaukee where you got the map and you had to walk to individual people, and when you got to the people you'd be able to they would a window would pop up and it would tell all about the person, and we played a game of Clue, but it was a dragon got loose in the market square and burned up the whole market square, and they were trying to figure out who caused the ruckus, so we had to go through 10, or god, maybe it was even more than that, a dozen people. They all around Cathedral Square. We had to walk and listen to them. And then you every once in a while you got a raven if you went over a question mark that could tell you the truth or send a message, and you got a truth serum to put on somebody if you didn't think they were doing the right thing. And in the end, we had to pick who it was with what instrument. So
So it's
I
like a
kept
game
on,
of Clue.
yeah, like a game of Clue with a game of Pokemon Go. So we're walking around Milwaukee, and it was a beautiful day too, So, and we went up with from costumes from dressed up as people from Fantasia. So I was actually Mickey. Mickey, you see the big ears yet? Mickey with the brooms, and so I had a red robe on, and Chrissy had a grass skirt on, so she looked like the broom, and we got two buckets for her to walk around. She was dressed in brown and had
Oh,
like a
that's
grass.
cool.
And so we were Mickey, and then we had the wizard. He one of a big guy dressed up as the big wizard. He's actually bigger than I am, so it worked. And we had one of the fairies, and we had Zeus, the all black character, their son Max, dressed up as him. So we kind of had a Fantasia group walking around.
Oh,
A lot of
that's
people were
awesome.
doing
I
stuff
did
from.
nothing.
Yeah, that would have been. I should have turned you on to that. I think that would have been a good thing to do. It was only, I think, $40, and you could have set up to 6 people, but no one would know if you had 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, for $40, we did ours in 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. Got plus an hour worth of wrong answer penalties, and the winning people did it in an hour and a half. And I'm like, they drove around their car. I know they did.
Aw, Dave's all salty.
I'm never competitive until I am.
Yeah, exactly. So show us your other scary thing.
What's that? Oh, the one under here? This
Eh.
one?
Yep.
It's actually a takeoff from Jack Black,
Yep.
the song "Icky Thump."
Yep.
So
Is that Jack
so
Black or White Stripes? I think
Jack
that's White.
Black,
Okay.
actually, yep. Which is a whole thing we could go down and talk about him and his sister, wife, whatever, that whole thing. Man,
Oh no, we're not going there right
he's
now.
a weird guy, but I love him. I
You're
just
talking about
love
Jack White,
him. Yeah.
not Jack Black. Jack Black is the actor and comedian. Jack
No,
White is
Jack
from the
White. I'm
White
sorry,
Stripes.
Jack
Yeah.
White. Did I say Jack Black?
You said Jack Black.
It's Jack White. Ah,
Icky Thump.
no. I
Yeah.
could do another thing on Jack Black too. I don't appreciate his acting, except for a very few movies.
Tropic Thunder. Epic.
He was good in that. I'll give him that. He was also in a movie about, and I forget the name of it. It was about Woodstock, and he was in there. Fantastic movie. A lot of people in it. And but like with him at the School of Rock, and no, that kind of
No,
stuff.
you're
Oh,
over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. So I've been watching a little bit of Netflix. They got some
You
new
finally
stuff.
got on board. Start watching stuff.
Yeah. Now, well, I got to do something. I haven't been watching the news. A little
Did you
bit of
finish The
news.
Boys finally?
I did finish The Boys. Do you want to talk about
Uh,
The Boys?
yes, we ended up. Okay, we didn't talk about it because you didn't finish it before, but
Right, right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was really good. They had the one more episode because we thought there were three left and it was actually only one. And I'm like, how are
Right.
they gonna wrap this up? They wrapped it up.
Yeah, but left everything open as well. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I want that thing just to go on. I wish I didn't know about it until one more season again. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you could binge watch like three
Yes,
seasons.
yes. You know, eight was such a, you know, I'm like, come on.
I know. I thought it was going 10, and then I looked, and the last season was only 8 episodes too. So that's
Yeah,
how it
I
is.
should
But
have figured, you know,
so for people who
décadas
haven't
on
watched The
that.
Boys, if you like crazy, wacky superhero, gory crap, go watch The Boys. Yeah. But yeah,
So
so
what'd you watch on that? What have you been watching?
okay, so have you heard about Forged in Fire?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Forged in Fire, we started watching it because it was on the History Channel when we still had cable.
Oh, that's the guys that do the thing in the, yeah, right in the,
They do
yeah, yeah,
the knife and the sword making.
right, right,
So
right.
yeah, so that is now on Netflix. So we're watching what is probably the 2018 season. It looks like looking at the credits. But that's the most recent one, and we didn't see that one. So it's like I love that because Doug with this knife will kill. I just love that. It's like,
Good
yeah.
characters on the show, you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, the guys who are the judges are characters, and then what I really love about it is you're watching people with their hand skills. I mean, they are literally forging, by pounding heated metal, and they're forging it into a tool. And I just think that's the coolest thing. And I
Yeah.
don't like fire personally. I don't like being around anything that's on fire. So it's like,
Like
well,
glass blowing and stuff. I'd love to do that.
yeah, yeah, but it is really cool, and the judges are amazing. The only thing I don't like about it is a lot of the cut tests sometimes will involve like a pig carcass, which I
Uh,
really don't appreciate, but yeah, I guess whatevs. But
they didn't kill him for the show. No pigs were hurt in the filming of the show.
no, but they go and they beat on the carcasses with
Yeah. Because
the
it's the closest thing to real human flesh.
that is true, and I'll bet you those ballistic dummies are expensive, probably more expensive than a pig carcass.
Right. You
So
can't eat it when you're done.
no, you can't eat it when you're done. You can't do much with it when you're done because it's just pretty much
No, the
beat to hell.
dummies. When you use the dummies, you can't eat those when you're done.
No, no. Well, you can't eat any of it when you're done because it falls on the floor. So, yeah. So did you see Rocket Man?
Yes, I did. I thought it was all right. I thought it was all right. Pretty
I actually,
sanitized.
we kind of we were hesitant to watch Rocket Man because I did see Bohemian Rhapsody with Freddie Mercury, and I didn't like the way it was done, and Rami Malek did a reasonable job as Freddie Mercury, but there were some things about the movie, and then it got nominated for Oscars, and I'm looking at my husband going, "How did this get nominated for an Oscar?" It's a reasonable movie, but it wasn't Oscar worthy. And then we watched Rocket Man probably about a week and a half ago. And I have never been a fan of Elton John. I mean, I appreciate his music and there's a few tunes I really like, but I wasn't like, I got to have every Elton John album and all that stuff because I liked the other music when I was younger. And I've come to appreciate his songwriting and everything. And I really thought, even though it was done fantastically, that the movie was very well done because I loved that they didn't take the music in sequence. And I really loved how they used the music to tell the story, even though that wasn't, because obviously, you start seeing it and it's like, oh, well, that
Right.
wasn't his
It
first
was more
hit.
of a musical than I thought it was going to be, but that's fine. I didn't know
Maybe
what.
that's what I enjoyed about it. Because, I really liked Absolute Beginnings, which wasn't kind of more of just like a movie. Because Absolute Beginnings had, Absolute Beginners, I'm sorry, had David Bowie, and he did a lot of the music for it. And that was taken all in one shot. So cinematically, that movie is really interesting to watch because they shot every scene just flows one into the other, and it's more like a Broadway play. And even my husband said after watching Rocket Man, could have been a Broadway play the way they did it.
Right, right,
Which,
right. There you go. And that I'm not a big one on musicals. So to me, that made it more, like you say, it's more Broadway. It was more of a sanitized version of the whole thing. And it showed some ugly points to him, but yeah, I mean but they had a lot to cover in a movie. That guy had a
well,
lot.
decades. I mean, they did decades in 2 hours. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just been all over. And and on my iTunes, every once in a while it pops up. First here he is with George Michael singing, and then all of a sudden here he is with Axl Rose singing, and here he is with
Lady
with
Gaga.
Lady Gaga, and here he is the last one. Gosh, oh yeah, Eminem. Sing with Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
With a song stand.
Yeah.
So no matter who you are as an artist, you always like Elton John.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like we all like Johnny Cash. It doesn't matter who you are, you're going to love Johnny Cash. We all put Johnny Cash on.
Yeah. I mean, I like Johnny Cash, but not to listen to him 24/7. So what were you watching?
Well, the one thing that jumped out on me, I was tooling around trying to find some stuff to watch here and there, and Guns. I watched Guns Akimbo.
I want to see that because it looks really cool.
I thought of you right away because it's gun porn. It is gun porn. It's black comedy gun porn.
And here's the weird thing. I'm total anti-violence, and I've never shot a gun. I don't want a gun. I don't have one in my house. But I watch stuff like John Wick or something like maybe this, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because I understand it's not real.
Yeah, Hotel Artemis. Did you like that? That kind of stuff?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's still good, too.
Okay.
But one of the great things about it, and this takes us back into someone who lost this week, is one of the female character blows a guy away, and then never bring a spork to a gunfight. He had they were fighting with anything there, and which again the passing of
Sean Connery.
James Bond 007, best one there ever was.
Yeah.
So I thought that him passing, me watching a movie, and then them throwing that in, because I use that. I tell you, I do use never bring a knife to a gunfight a lot of times, because when you're using a tool and someone's got a smaller tool and it's not working, and you bring out a bigger tool that will work. Then that's kind of like, never bring a knife to a gunfight, okay?
Yeah. So I know you don't watch racing, but I do. So I gotta do my shout out to my favorite racer right now, Lewis Hamilton. He's been breaking records. He broke Michael Schumacher's wins record. He now has, I believe, 92 wins. Which is the most ever in Formula One history.
That is a lot. That's a lot of wins.
Well, and considering how hard it is to win now, Mercedes clinched and Lewis drives for Mercedes. Mercedes has clinched their 7th world championship, not just 7th world championship, in a row. 7 years running. It's like, that's crazy. And Lewis is poised to drive or to win his 7th world championship. He can probably win it in a week and a half when they go to Turkey. And the thing is Michael Schumacher has the most championships of all time, 7. Lewis is still young enough to race another few years. He could get 8 world championships. And the cool thing about it all, Lewis is the first real black Formula One driver. And it's just amazing to watch him. He is so humble. He is so, thankful for his team and how they've supported him. And I just love watching him race. And, it's like, it was cool because he almost didn't win this one. I mean, he could have not won it. So it's like, it's pretty awesome.
Keeping the streak alive.
Yeah. So, that's my shout out to Lewis, because I wasn't a Lewis fan a long time ago, but I am now. So I'm now a Lewis fan. So hang on. I haven't been doing our thingies.
Bubbles?
I have not been doing our bubbles. Okay. Now my bubble just went away. Come on. Come back. There we go. Now Now we got bubbles. So, do you read it all, Dave?
No, we discuss this all the time. I don't read
But I mean,
because then it
you
ruins the movie.
you don't read books, you don't read nonfiction, you don't read magazines or any of that. You don't go to bookstores.
I read articles. Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
don't have magazines that come anywhere, but I read the news. I read the news all the time. I mean, I AP, Reuters, Al Jazeera,
Okay,
CNN.
so you're the little screen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I read books. I love books. My teenage years were taken up with reading a lot. Young adult years, when I didn't have a whole lot of money, I used to steal my mom's books and read them because she paid for them, which meant I read romance novels, even though they weren't my faves.
The Harlequins, yes,
Yeah, some of them were Harlequins.
with
I don't know.
Fabio on them.
Yeah, probably back then. Yes. Anyway, a lot of people buy their books now from Amazon, and I do buy some books from Amazon. I'm talking physical books, not like a Kindle or like a Nook or anything like that. There is a new bookstore online, and it's called bookshop.org. And for the small booksellers, this has been a boon because these people got together and they've got all these small booksellers under their kind of like umbrella. So if you go to bookshop.org and get a book, the full like boat that they would get if they sold the book in their store goes to the bookseller. So you're basically buying books from a small bookseller. So I highly recommend bookshop.org for
Well,
anybody.
that's odd. They have org, a .org, but they're a company. That's not supposed to usually happen.
They're not making the money.
They're not making the money, right? You're saying it's going back to them.
It's
That's how
going
they can
back
get
to the
content.
bookseller. It's not going
Ah,
to the internet, what would you say,
sure.
portal.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's really cool, and there are booksellers who basically said, "You've helped us make rent for the month. You've helped keep us in business. You've helped us pay insurance, or even employee costs." So in this day and age where we want to support small businesses rather than big boxes, bookshop.org, please support them.
But all of a sudden something tickles in my mind here. There was something about that lady making a call out that we're in dire, the big bookstore saying we're in dire need, and she actually got COVID money, sitting on all kinds of money, and then and had fired her staff, and then we're down in the dumps, and everybody started going to her bookstore. They raised all kinds of money, and everybody's just kind of railing on her about it. Ring a bell?
Not really. That wasn't one I read. So,
Uh,
do you know where that was?
No, it's a major book people, and then all of a sudden there are people lined up buying books. They had a big run because she made and then people were just like, wait a minute, she's sitting in this house
Barnes and
now.
Noble or
No,
Walden?
some woman is ahead of it, and that's why.
I have no idea.
No, all right.
So
Tells you
you
how much.
had some things.
I just have a couple little shots that are kind of questioning. I'm listening to the radio, and I think they're doing it to either this. So this is Christmas. The war is over. From John Lennon. Some guys repurposed it with like no more hating, something like that. So this is on the rock station, and the guy's going like, please make this song go viral. Stop the hating out there. This song that redone by Lennon, make
What?
it go viral. And I'm like, well, wait a minute here. How can you have an ad that's asking to go viral? You can't. Once you make an ad, you can't go viral anymore, right?
That's like being on Reddit and asking people to upvote. You're not allowed to do that.
No, it's right. Exactly. Yes. Okay. All right.
No.
I wanted to
Yeah,
make
I
sure.
agree with that one. That one's weird. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's no way you're done being viral when you advertise. All right. And the other time, I swear, man, I've been unsubscribing in my in my email from Windows and CBD and erection
Yeah,
pills,
me
whatever,
too.
you know, and I've been unsubscribing. And I swear, when you unsubscribe from these things, some of them take you to a sketchy unsubscribing area. And I swear that every time I unsubscribe, it sends it to two other places, and I get two new ones.
It does seem like that sometimes. I know. I was getting really annoyed at a couple of them, and I'd get like 3 emails a day from some of these places. Like, okay, I'm unsubscribing because, I just signed up for your email list because, whatever reason it was at the time, you're,
I had to.
you're looking
Had to
for a
create an
coupon or
account.
something, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, but, I didn't sign up to have my inbox spammed.
Right. Yeah. So I swear though, I was started cleaning up some, and they look so sketchy. No, I don't know. So
So there you go. All right, well, let's move on. Is this critical? I'm not showing you yet, Dave. There you go. There's Dave. So, yeah, there was this election yesterday. Were you aware of that? Did you know about that?
all right. First of all, thank you, Wisconsin. Thank you for being one of them that flipped, that went back. I appreciate it. I sincerely appreciate that you did that. And thank you from the bottom of my heart that I
Thank you
can
for
live in a
coming out
state.
and actually voting. That was awesome.
I understand you didn't like Biden. We're kicking and screaming with him, but we can't have Trump. And I thank you for realizing that. Thank you, Wisconsin.
Well, and a lot of the stuff I was reading basically said that if Biden becomes president, because the counts aren't all in yet, if Biden becomes president, the economy is going to recover at an exponential rate much faster than if Trump would have had 4 more years.
I also saw something that he screwed because he didn't win a landslide. So now they're just kind of like, he barely won, so he's barely in there. They're not going to
He
give him
has gotten the
a.
most votes of any U.S. president thus far. So I don't know what they mean by, it's not a landslide, just because, this is an electoral college. By the time we get all the votes counted and put together, I think people are going to be pretty surprised.
All right, current count as we're doing it right now, 264, 214. With I think that's still not counting Nevada, which would be 6, and that's what we need.
Okay,
Is
well,
that
Nevada was looking to go blue before we came on to do this, so let's hope that's the way it goes. You know, I was willing to give Trump a shot even though I didn't vote for him, but his misdeeds, his fraud, his con game, his criminality, his misogyny, his bigotry, his white supremacy,
if
his
this guy if this guy was the head of the company that you worked for, you wouldn't work at that company.
well, you know what? He has stiffed everybody. Do you know the people who got left on the tarmac? Those old people who ended up with
Oh,
like
yeah,
hypothermia and whatnot. The
yeah.
reason they got left on the tarmac is because he didn't pay the bus company. It's like, seriously.
All right.
Old
Well, they got
people,
our.
his
And
base.
my little thing I want to throw in there is, again, if you're going to protest, you have to carry your card that you voted. You have to have the sticker from the I voted with protesting, because you can't protest
I
if you
didn't
didn't.
get a sticker. I voted absentee.
I go down and get one. At least print one out. At least tell me it to your face. At least tell me that you voted. Yeah, I voted. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
then
voted. Yeah.
otherwise you don't get to.
I voted real early. So we were talking about COVID response. Yeah, remember
Hey,
you were
we hit
talking about the
another
Badgers
milestone
coming
today, I
back
think.
last week?
Didn't we just break another record yesterday or
We
today?
did, we
Yesterday we
did.
did.
And you
6,000 almost.
yeah, you were talking about the Badgers coming back and playing football, and we were talking about the Big Ten. Yeah, that's toast. 19 staff members, including the quarterback, tested positive for COVID. So
I just saw something too. We had one Packers guy go down, and that
yeah,
was it. But then I just saw that Denver and the 49ers are doing restriction right now, and that's who we're playing next. So I just saw a blurb. I didn't read it all. 49ers and Denver both have problems right now. So
lovely. Yeah, they're a bunch of, I don't know. I love football, but these guys got to do their job. Um, so do you ride motorcycles, Dave?
I wish I did. I mean, I was a mini bike guy on the farm all my life. So
Okay, so you're a mini bike guy. So we'll call you a bike guy, even though it's a mini bike. Little big bikes will hurt you. Little bikes will kill you. You know that, right?
yeah. Do I got to do that ad? Born to be wild. Are you
Yeah,
done
no.
yet, sir? Are you done yet?
No, no, right? So Harley Davidson is getting into the bike biz, not bicycles, motorcycles. It's gonna be
Electric bikes.
electric bikes. It's gonna be called the Serial One. It has a retro look based on Harley's first bike from 1903. If you've ever been to the Harley Museum, you'll see it there. Harley
That's
Museum.
that was the Army one, more or less.
No, this was not the Army one. This is the first one. The Army one is kind of like the one they did in Captain America. That's there too. That's really cool. But if you haven't been to the Harley Museum, go. That's my what would you say? Little ad for the Harley Museum. I don't ride Harleys, but we are in Milwaukee. This is going to be really interesting because the electric motorcycle business is starting to take off. I mean, it really is. I mean, when I was racing back in like the early 2000s, they were just starting to bring electric motorcycles into the race arena. Harley getting into this really surprised me when I read it. But then I read that part of the project is a gentleman called Aaron Frank. Aaron Frank is he's a gearhead. He was the editor for Motorcyclist magazine. He has done a lot of racing himself. He's raced all sorts of motorcycles. So this isn't just a Harley person coming in and doing a Harley thing. This is a guy who has an appreciation for the history of motorcycles, for the history of racing of motorcycles, for the culture around motorcycles. And so he's part of the project.
He's got it in his blood.
Yeah. He does.
He's not some guy that, oh, he just graduated. Let's get him in here,
Right. And I know a lot of people at Harley Davidson because, I was in the motorcycle industry for a while. If this has the team of people that I think it does, this could be really interesting. So I'm excited to watch this. I would encourage anybody who's into motorcycles or into technology to watch the space. I encourage you to seek out the articles about it because the bike is really cool. It looks totally retro. It looks like it's from 1903. It's got the white, tires and the whole 9 yards and the wire wheels and everything else. So that's super cool.
What's you got a price tag on it yet? Did they have a?
I haven't seen a price tag on it because I think they're just starting to kick off this project, but we'll see because Harleys aren't cheap either. But they need a kick in the pants. They're not selling as many motorcycles.
Yeah. That Buell thing never really went anywhere big, did it?
No, actually Buell was doing really well, and Eric Buell. Okay, a little history because I know the history. Eric Buell, I remember seeing his first motorcycle outside a Torque Center on National Avenue. Anybody who did any kind of action sports knew about Torque Center. And we saw our first one out there and it was like, hey, this is really a cool motorcycle. We started reading about Buell's. Then we knew a lot of people who worked at Buell. I got to meet Eric Buell. I got to tour the factory when he still owned it. I knew a lot of the engineers from there. I still know a lot of those people. They're my friends. And it's just, that was a cool project. Then Eric went and he was shopping for a motor for the Buell when it was starting to take off as a motorcycle. And so he toured Honda. He went to Harley. There were a couple, I don't know if he did any of the other Japanese motorcycles, but Harley offered him money. And so he took some of the money. He did the Harley thing.
Beep, beep. Here comes a truck of money.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a truck of money, but it was enough. And then eventually Harley bought out 51% of Buell. So they owned Buell, even though Eric was the figurehead. Eric's basically an engineer. And so he wasn't a really great business person. And Harley wound up shutting the business down. While it was starting to take off in Europe, we were all shocked because Buells were like the thing in Europe. And, globally, it was a good company. And, they were racing them the whole 9 yards. And I felt so bad because a good friend of mine had to videotape Eric Buell telling the world that Buell was done. And it was so heartbreaking. I mean, literally heartbreaking.
They just screwed it up. Harley screwed it up.
Harley, yeah. Harley screwed it up. They basically, pulled the wool out from under him. He ended up, he lost the Buell mark. He could use Buell as a name. So then he went to EBR, which was Eric Buell Racing. And he just called it EBR. And they raced for a number of years. India, a company called Hero, invested in them. And they did pretty well for a long enough time, but then the economy hit the fan and some other things happened. And I don't know whatever happened with EBR. Obviously, they're not, a household name like Buell was. But that's a really interesting little side history from Harley. But that had to do more with the administration and, CEOs and people making bad decisions that they shouldn't have made. So,
History. There you
history
go.
lesson, history lesson. So, what's your favorite candy?
Well, there's always a. Are you talking candy or I mean, do I? Because we start with a.
Candy.
I'm a Snickers, Reese's,
It's
uh,
candy. It's a chocolate bar, but
Kit
it's candy.
Kats, Kit Kats, dark chocolate, dark chocolate Kit Kats, Carmelos, whatchamacallits,
Okay.
uh,
Do you
uh,
remember Jessica from The
Barks.
Office?
What's that?
Do you remember Jessica from when we worked in the office?
Yes.
Okay. I won't tell her. No, I don't talk to her anymore. So her favorite candy was gummies. Do you like gummies?
Oh yeah, we've had those around. The kids have been around. We used to make that. What was that? Worms. You'd have serve
Yeah,
ground
the
up.
sour worms, the sour gummy worms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love gummies. I'll be honest. It's one of the few things that I'll eat if I can find vegan versions of them because not all of them are vegan. But they're Haribo, who is one of the gummy makers along with Black Forest. Haribo is going to build a gummy factory in Pleasant Prairie.
All right. Hey, dude, does Haribo do Swedish fish too?
I don't know if
Aren't they the
Haribo
one?
does Swedish fish or not, but so that's gonna
The
happen, and
kids ate
so
that all the time. We had
yeah,
those just as much. Those are gummies to a certain
yeah,
extent. Well,
yeah.
that's good. We lost the jelly beans, and
We
we're
lost
getting
Jelly Belly, but we're gonna gain
gummies.
gummies.
All right, that's a good trade. I'll say that's a good trade.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it because it's kind of like, well, we're upgrading. How's that?
Now, does Haribo actually have a vegan gummy?
No, I think it's a different brand that does the
Oh,
vegan gummies, but there are vegan gummies out there. You just got to be really careful because gelatin comes from the hooves of animals. So,
oh yes, that's right. Well, thanks again. Thanks for that.
yeah, do you like Reese's Pieces?
That's why they're the glue factory,
Do you
because
like
the
Reese's
same.
Pieces?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Do you know how to get the shine on Reese's Pieces?
No.
It's from bugs. It's shellac from bugs.
Oh, that's great.
I always love doing that.
There's
But
so there's so many things like that. Like what is it? Whipped cream and beer, like one molecular, part away, or plastic and beer, like one molecular, no node away from each other, or stuff like that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I see we got a rant coming up here.
This is a quick one.
All right. We gotta do your bubbles. All right, Dave. I have no idea what this is about. Go for it.
No, it's just a quick thing again, and I feel like this, like your Reddit thing. Am I an asshole? They always have that, right? Am I
Yeah.
the
Am
asshole
I
here?
the asshole? Yeah.
Yeah, am I the asshole? So we used to have a rollaway in back for 4 families in my building. So the place would
Meaning
the
a garbage dumpster.
garbage, yeah, garbage dumpster, right?
Yes.
And so they'd pull it from the back and have to roll it halfway down because the truck would come about halfway up the driveway. Well, after a bunch of rain, he came up the driveway and he busted up half the driveway. So instead of having the guy come in all the time, they put 4 new garbage cans back here, one for each family, right?
Okay.
So there's
I
four.
guess that's reasonable.
Yeah, and they still don't do recycling out here necessarily. I have no idea why. It's
We
something
do.
about
Because they have a
something about,
recycling bin for us, yeah. So,
but you
but
don't have to after 3 families or more. You're not supposed to. They don't make you do it. I don't know. There's something weird in West Dallas here.
really,
It,
yeah, because we do. And I mean, we're a big complex. So,
yeah, so I don't know what it is, but there's nothing. Nobody's making us do that. I bring it to work. Of course. Again, that's what I was talking about. I bring all that stuff to work. So anyway, they're back there, and I opened up mine one day and I looked in and there was garbage in it. Wasn't mine in there. Now,
no, that's a pet peeve.
I mean, it's like, you know, I am only going to fill this thing up once a month, guys, and I'm only going to pull it down once a month, probably. Especially in the winter when it's not smelling. But during the winter, I'm probably going to only roll this thing. One bag a week is all I take out. So I ain't
Oh, you make
rolling
less
more.
garbage than me.
I
I've
ain't
got
rolling.
cats, though.
Yes, and I'm only one, not two. So I
Three.
ain't rolling your garbage down. So I looked in there. I reached down, I pulled it up, and there's like one person had theirs way down the end, and two of them had them next to me. So I figured it was, I don't care if it's one of theirs or not. I just set it up on the other two and walked away. I was hoping they'd get my point, that I'm not putting it in my, not going in my garbage. But I've already had some run-ins with one of the guys here. The very first day we were unloading stuff and I was moving in, I pulled straight ahead into a spot. They're not numbered or anything, and a guy comes out, that's my spot. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, it was in the lease. That's my spot. And I'm like, okay, bud, we'll move it. And I'm like, my lease didn't say where my spot was. There's no way to tell what the spot is. There's no numbers. There's no letters. This is just guy giving playground rules. I was here first. It's my spot. I was here first.
It's like sitting at a certain table in the lunchroom.
Right, exactly. This guy also, when he moved his stuff into the basement, he knocked on my door because he thought I had two chicken coops down there, two storage areas. And I'm like, what? He goes, well, do you have two? I need one. And I go, what? No, I only have my one. And I said, there's four down here. I said, there's that one. That's my brother's. They go, well, then there's this one. Well, that's mine. And I go, okay, well, that one's mine. And then number 3 has theirs then. Oh, I'll ask them. What do you mean ask them? No, you already have one, dude. You don't get two. You're not gonna. You were asking me to move out of a second one because you thought I had two, and you were gonna take two instead.
Projecting, yeah, he wanted to.
Yeah, he wanted to. Well, you're gonna make me stop it. And first of all, I only have one because I'm doing things right. Now, unfortunately, of course, the whole basement is now his second locker. You know how that is.
Well, you know what? Some things can just start walking their way out of that basement.
Exactly. I would talk to the landlord and just say, hey, can I start selling the stuff that's down there? Start doing that. So,
sell it, just donate it, because then it's conscience
it's not in my pocket. I can have a clear conscience. I get
exactly.
That. But so again, this is just another one of those little that's I'm getting poked at, around here.
Is he gone now?
No, they're still here. The other day, of course, the smoke alarm goes up. Dink! I come home. Dink! It's been going, I knew it was on all day, because, I left, I think in the morning it wasn't on. So when I get home, it is. I went out to eat, leaving to see if anybody else would do it, because I already placed one smoke detector and one battery in this place already, because I'm sick of hearing it go. So the next day I came back, of course, I didn't stay over that night, but the next day it's still dink, dink, right outside my door. Okay, so I'm the only guy that knows what a fucking 9-volt is. Is that it? Not too high. It's on the stairs. Your kid could probably reach it if he got up on the stairs. Okay, so it's not about that. So here I am throwing another 9. I'm not going to call a landlord to come over and but I'm like, are you guys insane? You can't hear this thing ding out there each day? Come on.
Yeah, no, they're idiots. Sorry.
Jeez. That was one thing, I'll tell you, when we were on the phone, making calls for that satellite dish company, when I was trying to get an extra $50 out of them for our, whatever that thing was, again, that extra $50 we were always getting from them. All I could do is, while we're listening to people I'm trying to sell them, is in the background I hear this ding, ding, while I'm on the phone with them. I'm like, fucking change the battery. Listen, folks, I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to just put the phone down, go to the local gas station, get a fucking 9-volt or a couple of double A's, get them in that smoke detector so I can say I saved your life, and then we'll get back to selling you a dish. How about that? Unbelievable.
Oh, Dave.
How long has that been going on? But you're on the phone and it's going off in the background. You're just oblivious to it at this point, aren't you?
Well, there are some people who don't hear that stuff. I'm one of those people who, like, if the faucet is dripping, I'll hear it. It's like, there's a little run in the toilet. I'm hearing it. So I feel your pain on that. It's like, that's just
Yeah,
ridiculousness.
I got to have the fans on at night just for the background sound. You know what I mean? Just for the drowning out noise. You know.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have hillbillies move down the street, so. The funny part was when the hillbillies moved down the street. Um, Everybody in the neighborhood, I would go and talk to them, and they'd all either say to me, "What do you think of the hillbillies?" or I'd say to them, "What do you think of the hillbillies?" Everybody called them hillbillies. Yeah, we live in a nice little suburban street, nice neighbors, real diverse, and everybody called them hillbillies. By the way, he had to take his expletive off the back of his truck because I think probably uses it for work, and work told him to take it off. So,
Ah.
like, yeah.
Was he?
Yep.
Was it Calvin pissing on a Ford sign?
No, I'm not gonna say because then if they watch, they'll know who I am.
Yeah, because they already don't know they're being the hillbilly people. What do you think they're talking about, honey?
Exactly. I doubt they even watch YouTube. I think they probably still have a black and white tube TV. So that's their tube. It's a
Oh,
boob
rabbit
tube.
ears.
Boob tube. All right. Let's do some hip happenings, Dave. Let's see. More bubbles. Come on, bubbles, bubbles. There we go. We got some bubbles. So, did you ever go to that Chris Kindle market down by
Yeah,
did you?
I know I've been to that one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was the outdoor Chris Kindle market. It was the one that supposed to emulate the one in Germany. They own the one from Milwaukee, Chicago, and Wrigleyville down in Illinois. That's been canceled this year due to COVID,
I
which I
know
think is
Lake
kind of
Geneva one is still going on while you're thinking about Lake Geneva's, I think, still doing their Winterfest down
okay.
there.
Yeah, but I don't think that's
Uh,
owned by these people. This was the
yeah.
Chris Kindle market. So also the holiday Milwaukee Holiday Light Festival downtown. That's where you drive around and see all the cool lights. That's going to be going on. That's going to be November 19th, 2020 through the first of the year. So obviously that doesn't cost anything. You can just go down there and see the lights. And then the Borna Botanical Gardens is doing their Winter Wonder Drive again, and that's going to be from the 20th of November this month through the 3rd of January 2021. $25 per carload. They do have like an expedited fast lane one for $35, although I don't know why you would pay that. So yeah. But that'll be some fun stuff to do. What do you usually do like around Christmas time?
Yeah, we try to do one of those things where we go down, like in Waukesha or something like that, and and check the shops out, or we've tried to go down to Lake Geneva, but the one year was really warm and everything melted, and this in December and January it was really hot. Remember that was that 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it was like 60
so
degrees.
they could never get anything going. So, but no, I mean, Christmas time, we try to find something out there. Maybe head down just through the lights, out at the Country Inn thing that
Yeah, and that is
that
going
Friday.
on this year, I think. I didn't have that in there, so maybe next time because I don't think
Yeah,
it starts till December.
right.
So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So you do some pearls of wisdom.
Prison wisdom,
Pearls of wisdom.
pearls, prison wisdom. We all know
So
what that one is. We'll drop a quote.
so in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
That
And
sounds kind of like Bill. That sounds a little like Bill.
it does sound a little like
Appendix.
Bill. Bill
Yeah.
Penzie is my boss. I work for Penzies, so and they do a lot of be kind, embrace hope, things like that. That's their thing. But I'm just saying that because we had this election. There's been a lot of diversity, or not diversity, but division. Between people, and there's a lot of butting of heads, and so we have to remember we're Americans. We all live together. We all, we all want to have the same things. We all want to have a roof over our head. We all want to have food on our table. We all want to be warm for the winter, and be able to get back and forth to work and be able to do our job. And if we're just kind to each other, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, I think, we can get through this no matter who wins. So
Yeah, we don't have anything on our foreheads, thank God, that say Republican or Democrat when we're opening a door for someone or letting them go ahead of us in line or keeping 6 feet so we don't make other people nervous. Those
yeah,
are all things
yeah,
we can do.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. So
So,
that's pretty much it. So that's our thing. So what's behind you, Dave?
oh, just the boys.
The
Uh,
boys, not the
the, the,
boys
the,
from Amazon Prime. These are the boys.
these are the boys. Yes.
John,
Oh,
Paul, John, and Ringo. Wait, John,
yes.
Paul, George,
Oh,
and Ringo.
George. Jeez.
Yes,
Two Johns.
two Johns.
Well,
John, Paul,
or
George, and
now
Ringo.
that also could be Billy Shears. It could be the non Paul McCartney, because Paul McCartney had died. So
Oh
and
yes, all right,
Shears
yeah,
took his place. So
yes. The
I'm not
fifth,
sure if
the
that's
fourth, fifth Beatle.
right. I don't know if that's a picture of the replacement or actually of Paul himself,
Oh,
but
okay, all right.
yeah.
I
And I also got a quick note, something that's always kept in my mind. Do you remember who the original drummer before Ringo?
I do, and I can't remember his name. Go ahead.
Pete Best.
Yes, Pete Best.
Pete Best. And I remember watching a little thing on him years ago, or 20 years ago, probably, whatever. They're going back in the Beatles thing, and he released an album called Best, of the Beatles.
I do remember reading something about that, and people were up in arms because they got it, and it wasn't the Beatles.
I'm like, that's beautiful. Yes, it's slimy as hell, but beautiful in itself as well.
So, speaking of Paul, do you know what my least favorite Christmas song is of all time?
No.
Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
Oh,
I
simply
hate that song.
having a
Uh,
wonderful Christmas time.
I hate that song. This man wrote some really iconic tunes,
Oh.
and how that came out, I don't. He like, did somebody
No,
drug him?
he wrote iconic tunes, but he was a silly love song guy,
I
which is
didn't
why
like that song either.
Beatles worked well together because you had political and whimsical together, just like the Clash. That's whenever you see a good duo, you get a yin and a yang, he was the yin and of the yang. So
So what's
yes,
who's yin and who's yang between us? Because we're iconic, you know that.
exactly. Bookends.
Bookends. All right,
A
so we'd
book
like to
they'll
thank
never
our
read.
viewers and listeners. Dave's mom, my neighbor Pat, along with anyone else who stumbled across us recently and randomly. Hi to
Marianne
Naz.
Carlson.
Who?
Marianne from our East Troy connection.
Okay. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Naz. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Kay. Those are my people. You've got your
Chrissy.
mom. You've got Chrissy. You've got Marianne. And how do you say his name? Shitesy?
Shatesy.
Shatesy.
Shate.
Okay. I would say Shitesy. I don't
Yes,
know
I
why.
know. Well, no, see, that's just it. His last name is Shates, so it's Shatesy. And
Oh,
but everybody remembers Shotzi, the dog, right, from Marv Schottenheimer.
okay.
She owned a baseball team, didn't
Yeah.
she? And she let the dog run around Shotzi, and he would crap on the field. They'd find it
See,
out
I was
there.
thinking like shyster, something and shisty. So neither
Oh,
one is good. So it's more
Shatesy.
shadesy, like shady.
Yes, yeah, that's more like it.
All right. Anyway, so
Colonel.
if you guys tell two people and they tell two people, Dave and I can become internet famous. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit dot critical. Visit our Facebook page, MoKE Milwaukee. And as you can see on my lower third, I do have my Twitter thing down there. So I just want to tell everybody, stay safe, Milwaukee. We love you. Dave loves you. Look at Dave. He's got his Mickey Mouse ears on. And we'll see you in another 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have a new president.
Bye, guys.
Bye.